Fred Agbenyo is a member of the NDC. And Fred, how are you? Why were you late?
Sad. Okay. It's becoming too much. Some vehicles were involved in an accident just after the question ran about. And it took me 1 hour between Legon and that end alone.
And the cars were not towed?
The cars were not towed.
You know, I work for a company called the Road Safety Management Services Limited. And basically we're supposed to have a national towing service. So please go do the advocacy. We need to have it. In the UK, in the US, there's the need for a national towing service in Ghana.
I agree.
When it comes as an emergency, you quickly do a reconnaissance. Ambulances come, motorbikes come, the cordon of the place, the thing. We need it in Ghana. Ghana should be a pace setter. Anyway, enough of issues of road safety, but they are critical issues.
Yeah, they are very critical. They are very critical. They waste a lot of time and everything. And let me just use the opportunity to apologize to our viewers for coming late. I left home by 5:30, so I should have been here by 6. You know. Anyway, we can move on.
Fred, I'm sure Fred didn't leave home at 5:30.
Oh yes, I left home. I did. Why? I was up by 3 a.m.
You stay at Kufodia. But Fred, what do you make of the election? They call it the special delegates.
Super delegates.
Super
election
of the NPP.
Well, what else can I say? I heard my brother usually in a sermon mood, trying to give us a sermon about the man and Akufo.
That's politics,
no, that's not politics.
That's bad from this very discussion.
And I was giving us a sermon about the Nana Akufo and all that. I think I have to congratulate him first and foremost. It was to be expected. Nobody expected anything different from what we saw. If you have a super delegate, I bet there are about 800 of them. 740, less than 800 out of a total that will be going for a real Congress, 140 something or so. So this is just a small group of people, naturally, that can be easily manipulated and controlled.
Really?
And then, of course,
is that what will happen?
We know what happens.
Isn't it a microcosm of the overall voter population?
You wait and see what will happen there. Wait and see what will happen.
What's your prediction?
Well, I've only been praying for Nanado's victory. And yesterday night, the very reason I couldn't even sleep early, I was happy and I was excited about it, that the man is winning. I pray he wins very hard. This is the man we have fought and beaten every time. So for me, if he wins, eventually becomes the flagbearer of NPP, it means I worked very, very easy in 2016. It's like you're going for a boxer you have beaten several times, you know his weak points and all of that. You don't have any problem, really. So I am just urging on the delegates of NPP to go ahead. They should give him the mandate. We want to retire him from politics. You see, Walker, there's something that always worries me. I don't know why we seem to be encouraging it. That for politics, people can use it as their retirement job. After people have done everything they want to do under the sun,
I don't get
it is time for them to bow out.
I don't get you.
Then we want to go into politics. Is that in your family where you come from? If the one who is maybe the chief passes on, the one supposed to succeed the chief, do you go for the most eldest person?
I don't get you. All around the world.
You are not getting me.
We have very old people who are in politics, and actually they have the rich experience and the know-how to.
It is not about experience. If you have experience, be a member of Council of State. Provide that advice. You don't need to be at the forefront. Governance is not a joke. We are in a different dispensation.
Well, we do understand that, but enough of the politics, and now let's talk.
I am not doing politics,
yes,
brother.
but let's talk about how the NPP convened this whole election, and I mean the atmosphere, the decorum, and the sanity that characterized the election.
Did you say sanity? Did you say decorum?
It's a question I'm asking.
Yeah, well, maybe
if you think my words don't match what are in your mind. I mean,
I was shocked.
Freedom of speech.
I agree. This is supposed to just be an election process, a selection process, so to speak. Then you have heavy security presence. The police were there in their numbers, as though we're going to have some guerrilla war somewhere there. What is happening here? This is just an internal party affair. 740 delegates, right? Going to elect 5 people out of 7. So why all these police presence were armed as though we are going to fight some battle somewhere? I was wondering. Nevertheless, we still heard a few things in Tamale. They will not allow some people to vote through proxy. We heard here in Accra that it was Glover wanting to vote for Edome Kwabenya MP. They will not allow him, all manner of things. And I was like, what is happening here? This is just a selection process. So I'm wondering what will happen on is it 18th of October when they go for
October,
the real Congress?
Fred,
no, I'm not invited.
I'm inviting myself. Freedom of speech.
But I sincerely speaking, I think that they should pipe down a little bit.
Let me just announce this. I know your contribution is critical. That's why we brought you into the studio. But just breaking news we're getting, and very soon we'll play you the montage there of breaking news that Joe Garte, a member of parliament and also one-time Deputy Attorney General, has decided not to contest the October 18 presidential race of the NPP, okay, or the candidates, so to speak, of the NPP. And so that's a new Joe Gate will no more contest the flag bearership race of the NPP. And the question, of course, we're asking Francis Adainimo when we spoke to him this morning, whether he will also follow suit, or he is going to buy that very idea being spread by notable members of the party, that, well, the four others should just say, well, we're giving up. Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you are the man, and so go and just get an affirmation from the delegates of the party. So that's the breaking news we're giving you. Please, if you have any comments on the position of Joe Gate, please get interactive. We have a page on Facebook, Joy News on TV, and also a handle on Twitter at Joy News on TV. So please, let's get some of those views and let's get interactive as well. Continue, but comment on this and continue.
I'm not surprised about this news. In fact, it didn't come to me as a breaking news at all.
It's not breaking?
No, because long before now, the Nana Addo camp has been at it. Few days before the Congress, they had met their communicators. I met a few of them on some other platforms where they started advocating for a thing like that. When we go for the Super Delegate Congress,
but there's nothing wrong with this, really.
The one who wins,
it's called lobbying.
Lobbying in this case. Why they don't want to allow the democratic process to go through? That is simple. We're advocating for. Let's expand the electoral college. Let's get more people on board. So we cannot influence them. Now you have a small number, 740, that could be manipulated and influenced. They are going to take a decision. You are now asking the others to step down. Because you know that when you go and meet the over 140, you'll be able to, you can't influence them any longer. So the real thing will come out.
Fred, have you forgotten the Funky Games?
If indeed your party people really likes and want to accept to become their flag bearer, I think that they should allow the process to go through. We should respect the concern of this country. He brought in the Funky game. Even the sitting president of the Republic of Ghana had to go through the process of our
But did you not ask Konadu to step down?
Nana Konadu contested him. He didn't say no. Even when President Mahama became the president, nominations were open for party members to come in. Why are they suddenly running away from their very constitution? Now, I wish, only if Joe Gate could come out and tell us, if Joe Gate could come out.
If an individual says that I don't want to contest again, at his own free will, he's allowed to do so.
You know what happened after the Legon Congress in 2007? They elected Nana Akufo-Addo, where they had to force. They were supposed to go for a second round after the first round of election, where Mr. Alajamate was compelled to step down, so to speak. Subsequently, the way they tormented his followers and what have you, the man had to even write a letter that was resigning from NPP. You remember that? So I am saying that I wish really Mr. Joe Gate could come out and tell us the number of calls, the number of people who impressed upon him last night to arrive at the decision of not going again. I don't think it's an independent decision. It's a decision he has taken now. I can only pray and hope that they don't do to he and his supporter like they did to Mr. Alajamate in the past. They should open up. You see, what I fear most in NPP, I should not be the one really saying this, but I'm wondering if Nana Addo and his people really are ready to open up and accommodate others. We have lived here, but we want to unite the party and come up as a strong party facing NDC in 2016.
I just got a text message. I just got a text message. Say you should mind your business.
I should mind my business. It's Ghana's business. It's Ghana's business. I believe multi-party.
I need to share something with Fred.
No, before you come.
I'll share it. But enough time.
So
no, you were in before.
You were talking all along.
Okay, so please just summarize your.
Yeah, the point I'm making is that I really wish that today there will be a press conference telling us that okay, the 18th, a Congress will not come on again. Nana Addo is going to be the flag bearer of NPP, and I'll say hooray! We'll pour champagne and know that the work is done for us.
Really?
So for me, it's most welcome. If the man was a young man in his 60s, we're able to beat him to it. It's not when he's 73 old man that we cannot beat him at all. That one is not a big deal.
Isn't that interesting?
Now Joe Gate has decided not to contest.
Yes.
Do you also have the same mindset that the others also need to follow suit and say, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, you're the man? We believe that based on the margin of votes that you even got in the super, we think that overall you should be affirmed? Or you think it's just going to be a 2-3 horse race?
I mean, these are mature politicians, Roland. I'll come back to Fred's statements about retiring Nana Addo from politics. Right now, Ghanaians will retire MDC from the political landscape. But you wait a while. Let me answer your question on Joe Gate. He's a mature politician, an attorney general, no less. So I believe that he's advised himself. And sometimes when the die is cast, it's only, with all respect, somebody who doesn't understand the mechanics of politics, who goes headlong into something that is unachievable. And I think what Honorable Joe Gate has done is taken a mature decision to concede. And when Fred talks about, oh, how many phone calls did he get last night? How many people prevailed upon him? We just had, 15 minutes or so ago, we had Honorable Francis Adai Numo, who came on speaking candidly about going through the process and contesting or making sure that he fulfills his mandate on the ballot sheet come October the 18th. So when you have one candidate saying, I'm contesting, and another saying, looking at how the results went, I'm now conceding, and then Fred somehow manipulating and doing political gymnastics to say that this is, you know, he's been prevailed upon, it's far from the truth.
Okay, you're a politician too.
Yes.
Don't you think that it will be in the interest of some of those individuals who will find their names on the ballot paper to contest, just to also get that very political affirmation among the rank and file and say, well, even though we're going to have a top leader or somebody who is going to win, I still also have a certain history and respect and some pedigree in the party going forward.
Sure, yeah, I mean, that is within their right. Let's understand one thing. As per the Constitution, the Congress has to take place. The Electoral College was enlarged to allow for the polling station executives to elect the flag bearer. Only because for the first time we had more than 5 candidates, then the super delegates had to be a bridging component. So as per our Constitution, October the 18th will come on. Whether or not others decide to stand down or contest, that's their own volition, their own free will. But October the 18th, as per the Constitution, because the Constitution says, when we went to, in fact, it was a trade fair, rebuild, reflect, and recapture. And we elected to expand our electoral college, Roland. The Constitution was for the polling station executives, 5 from each polling station to have the vote. They have the franchise. It wasn't about a super delegates. So the October the 18th will come on. But you can't force somebody to stand. Clearly, when they can see that the vision, the hope, the aspirations of the people of Ghana are purely for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, somebody who's proven, has the experience that Fred seems to be, somehow you have glaucoma when it comes to seeing clearly where we are as a country, and the vision and the tenacity and the political will, and also the self-sacrifice. He mentioned about whether or not Nana Addo's team. I can tell you that Nana Addo's team is the NPP team, and dare I say Ghana's team. Nana Addo is somebody, as I mentioned earlier, you were late, but he thinks about the next generation before the next election, Fred.
Who?
Nana Addo.
Nana Addo?
That is a modus operandi. That's how he works.
Do you know Nana Addo?
I know Nana Addo very well, and that is how he works.
We're not here to malign somebody.
Yes, and that is how he works. So definitely, Nana Addo, when I say Nana Addo, the NPP as a family, you know, it's a democracy that we live in. We're not the camp that does Swedru and says, look, take Atta Mills or forget it. We are not about Swedru declaration people. And we're about a democracy, freedom in development.
Well, you're not, but you're still advocating for individuals to step down for somebody to be acclaimed. That's not synonymous to a declaration.
No, that is the democracy.
Again, the breaking news we're getting is that Joe Gate, a member of parliament, of course, one time Deputy Attorney General, has stepped down from the NPP flag bearership race or presidential candidacy race. And we know that he's from Shama, a former Attorney General and Minister of Justice, secondary Deputy Speaker of Parliament, and also somebody who has been very instrumental in the NPP in the Western region especially, and has grown to become a top politician, not only in the NPP but also for the Republic of Ghana. He's decided to step aside and allow the 4 candidates, as of now, as we have them, to go for that very Congress or the elections that will be convened on October 18. 2014 to elect a flag bearer or a presidential candidate for the NPP. Okay, so if that is the decision, Fred, it means that gradually there is a systematic effort to make sure the other candidates step down and then make Nanado go, just because he seemed to have the acclamation among the rank and file of the party. But that should also strengthen the efforts of the NPP so that they don't tend to go into a lot more acrimony and disagreement and create a very dissatisfied and unstable atmosphere for themselves.
Well, candidly speaking, I think that would be the best for NPP. One, they will not waste so much resources. They're going to organize National Congress. It comes a lot of resources. The acrimony that campaigns come with, people talking about each other, saying all manner of things about each other and all that. Yes, it can bring all those things down. But you see, there are some people within the NPP today who are looking beyond 2016. They know very much that for 2016, there is no way President Mahama is going to govern this country for only one term and exit power. They know for a fact that there's no way a sitting president going for re-election will lose the next elections. So they are putting themselves forward and preparing for 2020. That is why they're in the race. They are not in this race because they don't necessarily want to contest this election. They want to help Nanado to go to 2016, they retire him. Then in 2020, when they'll be looking for another flag bearer, they will then be in a pole position to be able to take over and lead the NPP. That's why they're in the race. And that is why they are going to insist that they go to the entire process, take the opportunity to also market themselves and prepare themselves in readiness for 2020 Congress. That is what they are doing. So the strategy really is not about 2016. Even for 2016, it's a foregone conclusion. It is over. The election has been conducted. No, it's not about this.
Are you in Ghana? The way Ghanaians are suffering.
You don't appreciate it. Ghanaians know that there are challenges in this country. You and I also appreciate that there are challenges in this country.
Why the semantic?
Ghanaians know that these problems were not created by President Mahama becoming a president just after
surely by President Mahama.
They know
surely
that if you have
President
problems with
Mahama.
electricity, if you have problems with water, if you have problems with our road network, you have problems with our educational sector, our health sector, these were not the creations of John Mahama.
It is.
The people of this country appreciate the work that President Mahama is doing. That for the first time in our country, when we are living in this country, we are importing sugar from abroad before we survive. This is the man who said the same vision in Nkrumah had. I am reviving
Who signed, Roland? Who signed the law to increase petrol?
Enough is enough, where our security people have to buy shoes from abroad before they're able to move out. Our school students are tired of buying shoes from abroad. We want to grow made in Ghana. For that reason, the shoe factory has started work in Kumasi. You're talking about a man who said we have to revive our water sector. We have to revive our energy sector, make sure we have regular supply of energy. By the grace of God, a Tuabo gas plant is almost ready now, very soon to come.
Right. So all this you're saying makes the president, the man to head into the...
A visionary leader, a man who is thinking like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
You won't be contested by any individual in the party, you don't think so?
It's a democratic party. When the time comes...
So why are you making all these conclusions that he's the man 2016 and all?
Well, I know...
It's as if that is a foregone conclusion for you.
As we sit here in NDC today, I know President Mahama will win the next Congress, even if 10 people choose to come and contest him. I know he will go ahead and win the elections eventually. Yes. So for us, the people of this country really...
Why is it that when people in the NPP do it for Akufo-Addo, you have complaints, you're doing it for...
I am not doing anything for anybody. I'm not doing anything for anybody.
You're doing it for Tamil.
Anyway, you don't hold the executive position.
I'm contesting for a national position.
Which one?
I'm contesting Deputy Permanent Secretary in our next Congress. So definitely I'll become a national officer in the next administration. But the point I'm making is that looking at where we are now, and we have a succession plan. Our things are very orderly. It follows. We have always done it. You know it. So where we are now, President Mahama will finish his 2 terms in 2020. Then others will come and continue from there. There's no twist about. But that's not to suggest that when nominations are open before 2016 elections, people will be prevented from coming to contest.
As Fred is talking,
as he was raising the subject, and you wanted to have a rebuttal. When you look at what took place over the weekend, there were some few skirmishes. Well, I don't know whether it can be called some few. There were skirmishes recorded at the voting centers around. Why all those disagreements?
Well,
were you monitoring? I
was there. I was at Osu Salem Park, where Greater Accra's delegates made the vote. There was no skirmishes at all. At all. I can't speak for the other 10 regions. But in terms of the news...
It was widely reported by reporters.
Now hold on, but in terms of the other... I saw Titus Glover.
Excuse me, sir.
But in terms of the skirmishes, you know, that you're saying that were widely reported, when we left the party headquarters yesterday, monitoring the news feeds, I didn't come across. But let me take it as at face value. Definitely within any competition, you'll find there can be, let's say, strong or passionate competition within and amongst the personalities in terms of the delegates. Whether or not you can then somehow change that or interpret that as a skirmish, I'll leave that to journalistic interpretation. But first and foremost, let me just come back to what you were saying, and I'll come back to Fred. When you said that if there are people who are lobbying for others to step down, I mean, what is the essence of politics? Is it not influence? The word parliament is French for parler, to speak, or speakingly. You speak and see whether or not your opinions take root, and for the person to take it or not. What happened when Hillary Clinton, they were supposed to go for another runoff, but then she said that she had claims for president, or rather their candidate, Barack Obama, to be their candidate for the Democratic Party, no less. Although by rights, they should have gone to another round, because he didn't attain the required amount as per the superdelegates in the Democratic Party. That is a key point that I wanted to make. But in terms of the tirade that Fred, the political propaganda that he just did right now, if only Fred could somehow go and listen to the viewers on Joy News right now, the Ghanaians, the people who have been suffering under President John Dramani Mahama. He says that it was not President Mahama's creation. Who was it that allowed for petrol prices to be increased? Wasn't it President John Dramani Mahama? The doomsday that we are suffering from right now wasn't it President John Dramani Mahama's watch? Right now, food prices have gone up.
If your candidate becomes the president of Ghana, he will increase petrol?
Do you know what will happen?
No.
You will have an efficient management of the economy. In March of 2014, you had the 60th meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, the MPC. Now that's the committee which Dr. Wampa, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, they superintend over, and they decide what happens. And if you look at the kinds of policies that they are putting in, we saw what happened with the Forex Bureau in terms of you're not allowed to take more than $10,000 out of the country. What happened? You had capital flight. Who superintended over that? As vice president under President John...
that was about 8 months ago.
Hold on. As vice president under John Evans Atta Mills, was the vice president, then Vice President Mahama, was he not in charge of the economic communications team, management team? So when you sit here,
so your point is,
and my point is that Fred is blatantly wrong when he says that the suffering that Ghanaians rolling are suffering from right now, whereby people can't even afford food, and it's without doing politics, when people are suffering, being malnourished, cholera outbreaks, you'll come in a minute. Who was responsible? The vice president then, John Dramani Mahama, in charge of the economic management team, and you've made the country bazaar, and you tell me you're not responsible? You are wholly responsible, which is why Ghanaians will retire you guys come December 7th, 2016. And you know it. And we are well prepared, and we know that the Electoral Commission will make sure that they act fairly and transparently. The elections will be won at the polling station. Justice Atugoba has told us that. And we are prepared to make sure that the will of the Ghanaians will be borne out December 7th, 2016, where President Mahama will be retired. Adim Fedatum.
Walker, before NPP left office in 2009, food was free in this country. Petrol was free.
We're not talking on the subject of
it. Was affordable.
You guys are just...
No,
No, Fred, I wanted to ask a follow-up question to Ibrahim.
Oh,
no. As far as the election is concerned,
yes.
Now, if, as a supposition, we have the 4 candidates, and we've already had Joe Gate rescinding any decision to go into that very election, so to speak, on October 18.
Yes.
What does it mean? It means that Nana Addo alone will go for affirmation, and would there be a Congress or an election and they all go and vote and affirm?
As I mentioned, the Constitution requires that October 18th comes comes into being.
So I'm asking, in a hypothetical situation where we have Oli Nanado Dankwa Akufo-Addo as the sole candidate, what happens?
The delegates, 140,000 plus, will go to their polling stations on October the 18th and vote for...
So you still print ballot papers or just a yes or no?
That is a question for
the executive
to answer. I wouldn't sit here and pretend that I know. But what I can tell you with as much integrity as I can is that October 18th, because it's a constitutional requirement that the polling station executives, not super delegates, elect our flag bearer. If there's only one name on the ballot, then that is the choice that the delegates have. That's why I gave the example, Roland, of what happened in 2008 at the Democratic Convention. Now, there were two people in the race, Hillary and President, candidate Obama. They could have had a runoff, as you recall. You didn't get enough of the...
But this one is not a runoff issue.
No, but I'm just...
It's not a subject of a runoff.
I'm talking about protocol.
That somebody is so and will be going.
I'm talking about procedure. There was a procedure to have a runoff prior to candidate Obama being elected as a Democratic candidate. So it's about procedure. And I'm saying that the procedure is that the next step is for October the 18th. Whether there's only one name or four names, right now there's only four names, given Joe Gate's conceding. Whatever number is on there, in terms of the candidates, that's the choice for we, the delegates.
So if it's a sole candidate?
Then if it's a sole candidate, then the delegates...
Still affirmed?
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now Fred, yesterday, Nanado convened a press conference. You think I've heard on social media and read widely that perhaps he's behaving as if he's already an elected candidate?
I hope I will not be blamed again of being politicking. At least for the first time, it's not NDC members who are saying that he's behaving as though he's a candidate already. If you remember, you have followed Nana's style of politics. When he became the flag bearer before the 2008 Congress, the man was already parading himself around as though he was the president of Ghana. He was meeting people.
Meaning what?
He was meeting presidents of Cote d'Ivoire, meeting presidents of Togo.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. He's at liberty to meet.
Yeah, I see that man. That is a picture.
That's a right he has.
That is a picture he created of himself.
No.
Even before the election, the man, even president, before there's still a sitting president, more or less, nobody was paying attention to him again. Everybody was running to the man was being oh, why? We're in this country. You understand? People were not even paying attention to President Akufo again. Even so, all ministers were not paying attention to him again. Before the 2008 elections.
Okay.
When Nana emerged, the election year, everything was about him. He was running around the whole world, meeting presidents, as though the man was already a president. A man has forgotten he has an election to run for. It's the same that's happening over here. The man had gone for an election, whatever it is. 740 people had gone to elect him. He had won. The man is so excited, so happy. Organized a press conference. The man was speaking as though he's a flag bearer already. And I don't know, but as it is, let's see how it turns out. For me, my prayer is that he should emerge the flag bearer automatically. The people should present him. You ask him what they are going to do in their case. We had a similar situation in 2012 when President Mahama was going alone. We still organized a congress in Kumasi, Kumasi Sports Stadium. We went there, the delegates were present. They voted yes or no, yes or no, yes and no. And the man won over 99.something% before he became an NDC flag bearer and eventually became the president of this country. We want to see him go through the same process. If they don't want to do that and they just want to organize a press conference and say that, okay, the other four aspirants have said they are not going to contest again, and so we are giving them not to Nanado to contest. That is hooray. They should allow them, whichever way people see him, whichever way he's carrying himself.
But you know, Roland,
no problem.
Very quickly.
Your comment. You have only 2 minutes.
Then I'll take 1 minute 30 seconds. The point that you make that some people are saying that Nanado is carrying himself off like the president already. Where from? We were at the press conference yesterday.
I'm saying it's a social media.
Okay, then you know, we have to be able to distill authentic commentary from propagandist commentary. Never.
You mean they're coming?
I'm telling you,
social media.
It's a fallacy. Because look, I think
they are Ghanaians and entitled to their views.
I saw Multi-TV Joy News yesterday.
I'm saying social media. You're saying Multi-TV.
No, I'm making a point.
Make your point.
I'm not saying it's a Multi-TV. I'm saying that for you and us and the world at large who was watching the press conference yesterday, you would understand that what you had was, hold on please, was a statesman speaking in a way, in a way in which...
Was a candidate in a super election.
No, hold on, he's a statesman.
And none of the candidates came out.
Hold on.
Yes, sir.
The point I'm making is this, Roland. To say that he's carrying himself off like the president, not you. I know it's the social media, but I'm just mentioning that when we refer to that, because then Fred then said, oh, thankfully it's not for us from the NDC who are saying that, as if it's coming from another quarter. When somebody posts something on social media, and it is so different from the reality on the ground, you had Nanado yesterday congratulating everybody, looking forward to October the 18th. The press release is there for everybody to see. It's speaking to the democratic credentials of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, whereby he mentioned about seeking to enhance the unity within the new patriotic party. And I mentioned before that when you think of Ghana first, always think of your party's interests as well, because the party's interests will reflect the nation's interests. So when you have Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo speaking about unity within the NPP, congratulating those who took part in the first part of the election, that is a candidate who is speaking to the interests of Ghana, our unity, and our common prosperity. That's what a leader does. And if you want to somehow...
1 minute, what did you say? 32 seconds.
Well, you allowed me.
Roland, I think that...
But I think I've made the point.